Hi again everyone. Today will be my first video going over the build of my test bench, which I talked about when I was disassembling that legacy PC a while back. I hope you enjoy. As you can recall, I salvaged a number of the parts from that old PC. The one that I really wanted to salvage for this build was the actual holder for the motherboards. There are several other parts that I'll show you as we get into it. This holder already had the locations for all of the holes for a standard ATX motherboard set out. Connectors provided with this motherboard bracket were removable. To make it a little easier, however, to work with a motherboard that's in this test bench, I've added these brass standoffs which screw into the existing hole in the brackets provided. There are some of these holes present which allow me to move. Let's say that I decided with a special oddball motherboard, this one did not fit here, it actually unclips and you could actually pull it out and move it into the neighboring, similar to an hourglass hole. Oh, you may recall this motherboard that I pulled out of the old PC when I salvaged it as well. Well, I'm going to use this to set the right dimensions for where various components of the test bench have to go. The first thing I'll do is I will install it on the base plate here. I'll just put a couple of screws in, I won't put them all. As you can see, it goes right into the standoffs that I put below it. Put one back here in this corner as well. With that, I have this other bracket that I pulled out of the old PC case. And this is, I've already put in the I/O shield for the motherboard. And what this is meant to do is help me properly space where things are going to have to be placed at. So if I put it along the side here, you will notice that it fits, but it is higher off of the bracket. So I need the exact spacing for this. So what I'm going to do is put in a couple of the cards that I pulled out. I have here one that looks like the network adapter card, and I'm going to place it over at the far end PCI slot. I need to make sure that I get it lined up with this bracket, so that's going to be in this particular hole bracket, this particular slot here. The I/O shield is properly centered. Here we go. And just to even it out, I have the modem card that I pulled out, and I'll put that on the far end PCI slot. And that way I'll have two screws holding from two cards. Oop, this one's got to get back in there. And that should balance it out for proper measurements. Tighten those down. Now, as you can see here, there is a spot that I have to deal with. They're not connected. We have a gap here. Get a ruler. See what kind of measurements we're talking about here. Looks like it's about 1/2 inch, almost exactly. Let me try the vertical positioning. It looks almost exactly 1/2 inch as well. So you might luck out here. 1/2 inch can be dealt with, pretty straightforward. Goes all along the edge there. Yep, goes all the way through. I happen to have 1/2 inch tubing. I suspected it might be close. Fit it right in here. And it does. It actually fits all the way across. Now what I'd like to do is, as I fabricate this, I want to make it so that it comes up along the side here as well. So what I'll do is I'll bend it at this point and wrap it up to the top. So I'll get an L-shaped bracket by doing that. Let me get a marker. So it actually looks like it's 12 1/4 from the end. So what I'll do is I'll mark this off at about 12 1/4. So this is the point that I want it bent. At 12 here, but it's 12 1/4. In reality, I'm going to mark this. So that's where it's going to bend. But in order for it to bend up at the 12 1/4, and it is 12 1/4 because if I look at the other end, I'm holding it 1/4 away from the end here. Okay. In order to make this work, I want it to fold up at that. I'm going to have to actually flip it here and actually do a V cut. So starting at this point right here, cut 45 degrees this way, and I'll make it perfect when I get inside and measure it. Another 45 degrees this way. So I'm going to cut this part here out. And that'll be all the way through the tubing. And then I'll be able to bend it right on this little corner right here so that it comes together right at the V. And I may decide to weld that actually, just to make a nice solid cut. That would be a rather quick weld. The welder should do this in short order. Okay, I've got my portable bandsaw set up here, locked in place on my workbench. And I will now make those cuts. Sound will go off for a few minutes as I lock this in. So that was interesting. The thickness of the metal actually allows me to stop at the right point, which is what I was hoping for. I want to cut in this way and cut in that way, but stop and not cut there so I can bend it on that joint. It looks like that may have done it on this joint here. Hopefully I'm angled. It looks like I have to trim it a little bit. Okay, got a 90-degree holder here. See how it looks. Yep, looks like it does. So we get this bracketed, and then I'll get the welder out. Might as well weld it and get it done with. Nice 90-degree angle. So I got the piece that I need. Got my welder out. Get this piece. These magnets will hold it in place. I'm going to do a weld this way and a weld on the other side. This is a welding table, so I put the ground on the welding table. As such. Closer to the project, the better. Do my 208 plug. Put that in there. Okay, this thing is pretty good. Yep, it is a 30. Let's make sure it feeds. There we go. It's feeding. 1.5 just to be sure. 1.5. What's the voltage level? The voltage is an A. Got it on A. Okay. Now I need my gas. Shielding gas. I'll do a separate video on welding if people are interested in it. First open up this main thing here. There we go. It should be 30, this one. There we go. Get this thing up a little bit. Our shielding gas up 30. I gotta test it. See if it remains 30. Okay. Let's see, would it stay 30? Yes, it did. It stayed 30. Trim off this excess. Not a clean one, but good enough. I'll grind the rest of the imperfections off. It doesn't look bad at all, does it? I guess the question now is whether or not it fits. Come in here, I want to fit it into that slot, right? Yeah. It looks like it fits like a glove, actually. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to mark this. So what I'll do is, still got my marker pen there, I'm going to be drilling holes into that piece, the top and the bottom. I'm going to use a 6-32, so I'm going to drill into the bar itself that I just created. There's already a couple of holes drilled in the sheet metal, both the top and the bottom. Some of them are not, so I'll have to drill the sheet metal as well. Turn this upside down here. A little easier to mark this off. There. And there. There. Do one there. The two existing ones. Right. It's that one. What's that one? The side ones as well. That's got a hole in there already. Let me drill that one. I'll drill one at the top. I have to drill right through the base too on that one. These are going to be drilled and tapped. Drilling, I may have just have to get them started, and then I'll have to put it on a drill press. They're just not going through right now. Pretty economical drill press I got. Centered on the hole, though I'm not going all the way through this time. Straight hole. That's my straight holes. Okay, all the holes have been drilled. Now it's time to tap them. I got my tap, and we just go in nice and smooth. go, all the way in, hit the bottom. That's good. Definitely done some work there. Okay, let's get this bar back in here and see if I can secure it. Get this bar in here, secure it. Okay. So it should line up fairly good. Got plenty of extra hardware from when I salvaged flathead ones. I think those look nice. Yeah. That's grabbing. That's a good sign right there. Yep, it's grabbing good. I don't think any little shards will get in there. You never know. How does that look? That looks good. I missed a hole here. Nice and tight. I like that. And I think that takes care of that for now. This project was a little more involved than I had anticipated. So this is the end of part 1. Please be on the lookout for part number 2, which should be appearing shortly. Thanks.